One of the biggest commodities in Pokemon Go is going to be bag space. How do you keep your Pokemon storage managed in Pokemon Go? Today I'm going to go over all my top tips, tricks, and strategies to help you keep your bag most efficient in Pokemon Go. So welcome to the Trainer Club. Here we go! Having an efficiently managed bag is so important in Pokemon Go. One of the most important things for me because, especially during Go Fest seasons and calm days, it's going to allow you to get the most out of all of these situations. Because during Go Fest, calm days, and big events, you are going to want to have multiple things going on in your bag. Number one, you obviously want to have enough space to be able to catch Pokemon. It's very important to be able to catch Pokemon. It's very important to save Pokemon because we're all collectors here. And it's most important to be able to have the flexibility throughout the day to be able to catch a lot and not have to keep going back into your bag to delete a bunch of Pokemon. That is not the most fun thing to do. Not only that, I really suggest that you guys have enough space to save enough Pokemon, let's say for Go Fest, and you're going out there and you're catching Lucarios in the wild, and you're catching Aerodactyl with the satchel, and you're catching Sigilyph. You want to have enough space in your bag that you can save a bunch of these Pokemon, if not all of them that you catch, and you can trade them at later dates, and additionally, you're able to then go and keep playing the game because that is very efficient when we are playing. I wanted to make sure you guys optimize all these different scenarios, so I'm going to give you my top tips starting right now, and we're going to clear out some things together. The number one thing that I always question when I'm doing this is this Pokemon going to be useful? Why do I ask if it's going to be useful? Because why do we need Pokemon that are not useful in our bag, right? Case and point, Mewtwo is going to be very useful in the game. However, I've done a bunch of trades for this Pokemon. So there's a couple different scenarios that you could do with these Pokemon. Number one, you could send them into Pokemon Home. You can store them in Pokemon Home and distribute them to different console games. Or what you could do is just transfer them. Since myself personally, I'm not a massive player of the other games. I'm primarily just a Pokemon Go player. I don't really care about having these Pokemon in Pokemon Home and other things like that. It doesn't do me any justice. And if at some point I do need to transfer them, all I have to do is lucky trade for them again and transfer them in. So let's start off with my bag and let's start showing you how I'm gonna do this. So one of the best things to be able to use to find out which Pokemon you need to transfer, that's gonna be traded. The traded function where you can just go in here. Let me show you. I searched in Mewtwo, and then when I clicked up here, all you have to do is click that traded, or you could even type traded in there as well. So these are gonna be all the traded Pokemon I have. So I do have this Mewtwo right here. This one's gonna be a 15, 14, 12. Not really the biggest fan of this. I need to get that out of my bag. So I'm gonna go through here and I'm gonna search all these Mewtwo's that I've traded for and that are not serving me, 25, 53, and these Pokemon need to get out of my bag. While they are useful, that comes to my next point is that I am never gonna power these Pokemon up. I already have 2 Shadow Hundos, one's a Shundo, one's a regular. I have multiple other Hundos, including a lucky one. And so now I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna see this one, that's a 14, 14, 14, I'm not gonna do that. I don't know why this one is saved either because I'm also not gonna do anything with this Pokemon. So I am going to not do this. So I am going to unfavorite this Pokemon and it's time for me to transfer Mewtwo. So I am gonna go through every single Pokemon that I have like this and say adios, adios. This one might be a 98, 96. Okay, that's a 98. Another 98 and a 98. What was this one? Okay, that one's out. All right, 2374 is a 96. I will never power this Pokemon up, and therefore it does not need to be with me, okay? So like I said, I do have this Hundo, and although they are shinies, they are cool. So what I would also suggest you guys do is I would suggest when clearing out your bag is you go by the numbering system, you click number, and that's gonna sort everything by the number of the Pokemon. So look, all my Bulbasaurs are 1. Obviously I need to do some cleaning here. Then I have Ivysaur, then it'll be Venusaur. Then it's gonna go into Charmander. Then it's gonna go into Charmeleon if I have any, and then Charizard. This is the easiest way to know everything that you have in your bag because it's all put into one place and you can go through and see what you have and start clearing that way. And the next question that we're gonna be is, will I need XL candies for this? So if I do look up into the top, right, I have Bulbasaurs, a bunch of them, and so this was from Go Fest. I can look in here and say, do I need XL candy to save this Pokemon a trade? I have 827. The chances of me maxing multiple Bulbasaurs is not very high. So I'm gonna say I don't, so I can go through here and clean out all these Bulbasaurs. However, what I do wanna know is, do I have any PvP useful ones? So I will go through here and look for anything with something that looks like this, and I will save it for later, and then I'm going to screenshot it and run it through Pokegenie. If I wasn't making the video, I would screenshot that now and get rid of it if I didn't have it, okay? So all of those are good. We don't need any of these Bulbasaurs, and so this is a good way for me to start transferring out these Pokemon, sorting by the number and seeing if I'm gonna need XL candy for trades. And on top of that, will I want to have good IV for trades? One of those Pokemon that I'm gonna mention to you guys is gonna be Aerodactyl. So the Aerodactyl with the satchel is a very cool looking Pokemon. I do have enough XL candy here. I'm not gonna power any of these Pokemon up. However, I do want a good IV Aerodactyl with a satchel that I could potentially max. So I'm looking to get a 100% IV Lucky Pokemon or something like that. So I'm gonna save all these Pokemon, and somebody else is gonna save these Pokemon that wants them too, that we would communicate and say, hey, I'll save these, you save these. We may not need the XL candies, but trading them in mass quantities can get you good IV Luckies, and that will cost half the Stardust to power up. And the next question that we're gonna be is it going to be trade leveraged? So what does that mean? That means it's a shiny Mewtwo, if it's a shiny Rayquaza, those could be trade leveraged Pokemon. But what other could be? Oricorio could be. If you have it from a different country, such as this Oricorio, that's gonna be from Europe, I could take this one into GoFest New York, and there may be some people out there that are looking for this specific Oricorio. Another really highly desired Pokemon, Sigilyph. Sigilyph, although it's been out for a little while, and it's gonna be in the GoFest, a lot of people still do not have that Pokemon, so it's gonna be there as well. So what I suggest doing is even if these Pokemon are not asked for, save at least 3 of a couple of these regional Pokemon that at some point, you know, there's gonna be new players that may want these Pokemon and may come and ask for them. Heracross would be a good one. We do have Carnivine, Tauros, even in America, people over in the overseas maybe even now asking for shiny Tauros and things like that. So knowing all of the regionals are very important, and knowing which ones are gonna be desirable for people. And the other thing I am going to tell you guys is, will this Pokemon have future use? And I'm gonna partner that in with, if a level 60 ever does come out, could this Pokemon then have different IVs? One Pokemon that I might suggest of that is going to be Umbreon. The reason why, look at Umbreon right here. So we have Umbreon. I do believe I have maxed out Umbreon here at some point. Okay, I don't. But if I were to power this Pokemon up, it's gonna max out at 2416. At level 51, it will be under 2500. However, imagine if level 60 comes out and we get 10 more levels of power-ups. What then would be the best optimized stat for Ultra League? It would no longer be this 15-15-15. More than likely, it would be a 0-15-15. So Pokemon like that, I highly suggest you guys kind of take that into account when transferring Pokemon. Maybe not for every Pokemon, but from some of the hardest hitting Pokemon. A good example of that was Azumarill. If you guys do look in here, Azumarill, the previous GBL 100% IV with a buddy boost was a 7-15-13. So I do have this one now. However, if we do look in here, I do believe I have a rank 2. Here's the new rank 2 at level 50, a 0-14-11. And the 100% IV would be a 0-15-15. And that used to be, obviously as you see, 8-15-15 for non-buddy boosted. But if it was buddy boosted all the way to level 51, you could have it at that. And that changed quite significantly when level 50 came out and level 40 wasn't the highest level. So I wouldn't say to do this for every Pokemon, but some of the hardest hitters that do not have the 0-15-15 already in their stat for GBL, for Great League or Ultra League, I highly suggest you guys save if you have a 0-15-15 and you're like, oh, well, actually right now it's not really useful, because I know for a fact I had that 0-15-15 Marill, and I even texted my buddy Justin, I was like, Justin, imagine if this was a higher level and this could be useful, and then I transferred it. Come to find out, a year and a half later, we did have level 50 and I had that specific Pokemon. And the last thing I am going to suggest you guys do save for is boosted transfer, if you guys have enough space only. What is boosted transfer? Boosted transfer is, they did have it on Shinx Com Day. They had it one other time during an event where it was like, if you transfer Pokemon, you're gonna get 2 to 4 times the likelihood of getting XL candy when you transfer. So the Pokemon that I am saving for that is Lugia. If you guys do look here, I have 54 Lugias saved up, and the other one is going to be the Ho-Oh. Ho-Oh, I have 125, and although I do have the 492 XL candy to be able to max 1, I wanted enough to max 2 of these Pokemon, 1 Shadow and 1 regular. But at the same time, guys, I know this is gonna be a little painful. I wanna go through a couple things that we may have that may kind of bother you if I'm gonna transfer, okay? So looking through here, you're gonna have to start transferring some shinies. So I have a bunch of Squirtles in here that I will have to start transferring for Com Days and other things like that, okay? So I can go through all these IVs, but I already have, or else I would have favored it, and you're just gonna have to start transferring Pokemon. Squirtle in specific, obviously had a Com Day. I keep clicking that catch card for some odd reason, and we keep going through there, but we're gonna have to transfer Squirtles out. Eventually, I'm gonna have to go through and transfer out legendaries, and also, I'll go through some other Pokemon here, like Pidgeys. Look at all these shiny Pidgeys that I have. Probably nobody's gonna want these Pokemon, more than likely, so I'm gonna go ahead and transfer a couple Pidgey shinies, even though I love Pidgeot, and the Mega Pidgeot I think is fantastic. I have a couple of these Rattatas. Nobody really ever asks for me a Rattata. I'm not not a shiny collector, meaning I need to have a living shiny dex. I do like to get the shiny, and then after that, I am okay with trading it away. We do have more than enough Pikachu shinies in here that I probably will have to transfer. I am going to save those balloon Pikachus because they were a rare one that you could only get in Singapore. There is going to be some shiny Sandshrews in here that I do not need, so I'll go ahead and transfer some of these guys. And even at some point, I may get into a place where I have too many 100% IV Pokemon, and I'll show you guys that as well. So I'm going to go ahead and search 4-star. So I have a bunch of Bulbasaurs in here. Okay, let's see. This one is not. That's Frenzy Plant. That one's powered up. Frenzy Plant. I do believe that I have a Pokemon in here that does not. I might have transferred it. 23. Okay, so while I could use this Pokemon and save it, more than likely, I just don't need this many Venusaurs, right? And I have a couple of Charizards in here that are 100% IVs. Let me see. I think one of these guys has Overheat. This one is all the way to level 40. I could save this one, or I could just transfer this one. Is that a level 40 Pokemon? I'll probably save that one. Let's see. Blastoise right here. Hydro Cannon. Am I ever going to power this Blastoise up? More than likely, I am not. And the other thing you do want to check, so this one is actually, I'm glad I checked here, is from 2017. The reason why you would want to check for 2017 Pokemon, and I would tag this one into a folder. I'm going to create a folder that says old. Old Pokemon are going to increase the chances of getting lucky Pokemon in trades. So if somebody did have something that I wanted, let's say an Axew, I could potentially trade this Blastoise away, and then that would allow me to get a potentially lucky Pokemon at a higher ratio, right? It doesn't always work out like that. The other thing you have to realize is that if you do not have 10 lucky trades ever, if you've never gotten 10 lucky Pokemon, what you do have is 10 guaranteed lucky Pokemon if you're able to trade away older Pokemon. 2016 for certain, 2017, yes as well. What you do want to do is if you have those Pokemon and you have never received up to 10 lucky Pokemon ever, if you have gotten one, you transferred it, that still counts. You want to trade those Pokemon away. I would suggest maybe you have a Squirtle from 2016, you trade that away for, let's say, for a Metagross, or you could do a Legendary or something like that, where although that person is not getting something good back, they should just be in abundance helping you in return. Okay, so we did transfer some lucky shiny Pokemon, some lucky shiny legendary Pokemon, some 100% IV Pokemon. There's going to be a lot of transferring down. My goal is to have at least 2,000 spaces, and I am going to keep on transferring. So thank you guys for being here as always. Please make sure to make the hard decisions now and free up your gameplay, because more than likely, you're not even going to remember that you have that Pokemon. The only Pokemon that I really ever regret transferring was that 0-15-15 Marill, and the reason why I am telling you guys this in this video is because I did regret it, and if I would have had a little bit of foreshadow that there was a level cap increase coming at some point, which I knew it was, but I wasn't sure exactly how long it was going to take because of how long the game had been out before that happened. You can optimize yourself, optimize your bag, look at the good PvP relevant Pokemon, and then also the other thing you have to realize is that at some point, one of these Pokemon could get a different moveset, and it could make it relevant in Pokemon Go. So just have those kind of forward thinkings, and stay tuned to my videos because I will talk about most of this stuff, so keep those notifications on. So thank you guys for tuning in as always. To all of my likers, commenters, subscribers, Patreon members, everybody takes your support, subscribe, and anticipation to the next level. I'm gonna see you guys out in the next video. Peace. I want to take this time to thank everybody who supports me in every facet. It means the world to me, and an extra special thank you to all my Patreons. I greatly appreciate the extra support to continue to allow me to pursue Pokemon Go full time, allowing me to create my daily video uploads in the most timely fashion for everyone's benefit. Plus, I get the amazing experience of sharing my creative processes behind the scenes and raiding all around the globe with select upper tiers. Thank you everybody for being a part of the Trainer Club. You all mean the absolute world to me, and I will see you guys out on the next video.